you want level 6 as soon as possible, and so it's always important to stay, once you hit level 5, to just stay on the human and kill peasants everywhere you can in the hopes of getting that level 6, because as soon as you have it, you're going to have a much better answer to his towers, and to his workshop units for that matter. So at this point, Holy Human is finally getting his workshop units out, and you'll notice Chapoti is fighting off still more harass back at his original expansion, as he still is putting pressure on Holy Human's 3rd expansion. And over at Chapoti's, over to the right at Chapoti's expansion on the top right, Chapoti now sees that a Holy Human is choosing to make tanks. And he tries to save that Tree of Life by uprooting it and repairing it. Sometimes that works. That wasn't quite enough in that case, but now he knows what he's up against. And it's very important to recognize what you're up against on this map, because it could be any number of things. Like I said, you don't know whether they're going to mass air or mass workshop, and if they do mass workshop, you don't know whether it's going to be tanks or gyrocopters, flying machines. So you have to be prepared in either case. Chapoti again using that staff to teleport to great effect, making sure that his original expansion stays alive even against the onslaught of that Archmage and the many water elementals, sending his Demon Hunter home and rallying a couple units to make sure that it stays alive, even as he continues to try to pressure Holy Human's top expansion. So now looking at Chapoti's base, you can see he's researching Nature's Blessing, which is going to be the first step on the road to countering what Holy Human is about to try to do here. Holy Human obviously is going to be massing workshop units, and so Chapoti's going to have an answer to it. And you'll see that the answer to mass workshop units is not simple. Over on the top right, we can see that Chapoti is recreating that expansion. In addition, he's gotten a very nifty surround on that tank up there to make sure that expansion stays alive. And back at Chapoti's base, he's bringing what bears he has, along with his Demon Hunter, to put a little bit of pressure on the tanks there, but he doesn't have an immediate answer to the tanks. So for the time being, he's just going to have what units he does have to try to kill the tanks and make sure that his stuff stays alive. You'll notice that in his base, he's constructing 2 Ancients of War. Ancients of War are one of the better options against tanks, in my opinion. Glaive Throwers and Siege Damage are the obvious counter, but if there's any way that you can protect against yourself without using food, so you can stay below 50 food and maximize your resources, that's the way to do it. Ancients of War are the best thing for that purpose, resource-wise. They're better than Ancients Protectors, and of course they also take advantage of that Nature's Blessing. So Chapoti making Ancients of War at home, rebuilding all of his Moonwells, just doing as many things at once as he possibly can, picking up the Orb of Venom to help him kill those tanks. And meanwhile, just making sure that his top expansion gets up, just relentless to make sure that expansion gets up. Now he's going to protect his original expansion once again, making sure that all this stuff stays alive to the best of his ability, uproots the tree, and goes eating, meanwhile chasing that Archmage around. As long as you have boots and he doesn't, especially if you have an orb, there's no reason not to chase the Archmage around and force the TP, and hopefully even kill it. And again, Chapoti is trying to remain in the offensive position on the top side of the map, still trying to put pressure on that top expansion of Holy Humans. But he still doesn't have quite enough to take it out, so he's going to go to the middle, heal up a little bit with his keeper there, and meanwhile he's going to make sure his Tree of Eternity stays alive. He's going to uproot it. An uprooted Tree of Eternity, which Nature's Blessing, especially if you have Wisps ready to repair it, and you're eating trees, will stay alive a long time even against tanks, so he's going to choose to uproot it and put pressure on those tanks with everything he's got, uprooting his Ancients as he can. And just trying to take out these tanks with everything he's got here, so that he can live to fight another day. You can see that right now it looks like he's in pretty bad position. He actually doesn't have anything mining him gold right now, and he's at 45 of 30 food now. And meanwhile, Holy Human still has 2 active gold mines. But we will see how this plays out. Chapoti continues to be very clever here, so just watch what he does. Again, focusing on making sure his Tree of Eternity stays alive, using his bears and his keeper to just eliminate the tanks one by one. Sending his Demon Hunter out to do a little bit more adventuring. You'll notice that the Demon Hunter is very close to level 6. He probably realizes that, and he only needs a couple peasant kills to get that done. So he's gonna go out with his Demon Hunter hunting for level 6, because as you notice, killing that top expansion has become very difficult with just bears, especially when he has to stay below 50 food and he's losing his Moonwells all the time. So Metamorphosis is going to be the best answer to actually being on the offensive against the human player. And so Chapoti's just using his Demon Hunter to be on the offensive here, getting in Holy Human's base. Whenever you can, it's important to scout the human player, because if he's going tanks, you never know when he's going to switch to flying machines, and you always want to be aware of it if you can. So at this point, Chapoti knows that Holy Human, for the time being, is still just making tanks. And so he's going to do his best to counter this. You'll notice that he keeps his Keeper and his 4 bears as close to his expansion, or rather, right next to his expansion. Rather, his Tree of Eternity, I should call it. Expansion is a pretty vague word to use at this point in the game, I suppose. So he keeps his Keeper and his 4 bears near his Tree of Eternity to make sure that if there's another tank onslaught, it will stay alive. You'll notice just smart defensive play on the part of Chapoti, so he doesn't ever get to that point when he's about to lose the game. And here, as I mentioned before, we have the Demon Hunter going to where there are peasants to kill in search of that level 6. Because level 6 is going to be enormously helpful. And meanwhile, his top expansion is just starting to get underway. Using that immolation. He does have an Ankh, so he's choosing to use it here. There's no harm in doing so at this point, I suppose. His Demon Hunter isn't really in a lot of peril from things like a mass air army. It's not like he's going to need that Ankh in a fight. So he's going to go ahead and choose to ensure his level 6. And then he's going to, again, use that Staff of TP just to get home fast. And get some healing on that DH so he can get back into the fight. The Keeper of the Grove is very useful in situations like this. The Keeper is just an intuitive second hero. It's nice to have a ranged hero to complement the Demon Hunter. There's no other tower killing hero that you have, so the Keeper is nice with Entangle to pick off peasants. And in cases like that where the game gets long and they have mass teleport, Keeper has an Interrupt, which is always useful. Doesn't let him make sure that he has to spend that extra 350 gold on another town portal, as opposed to the free one. And so you'll see what Chapoti does here, using his Metamorphosis. This is the fun part. So this is your best chance at taking out large amounts of human towers. You need that level 6 Demon Hunter, and you saw what Chapoti did. He just went for it. He got the level 6, and now he's going to use Metamorphosis to put pressure on the towers. If Holy Human tries to repair the towers, he's going to lose his peasants, and slowly but surely the towers will go down. So now all of a sudden we have a little bit of offense back on our team. And you'll notice that Chapoti is doing everything he can to get back on the defense. If you look at that Tree of Eternity, he's staying below 50 food and choosing to spend his resources. On the other hand, choosing to spend his resources on defending that Tree of Eternity. And you'll see what he's doing. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ancients of War. That seems excessive, but man, if you have 8 or 9 tanks coming at you, you're going to want every one of them. Just using all of his resources to make sure that he is well fortified. With those, with that number of Ancients of War, with eating trees and repairing and Nature's Blessing, we'll be able to fight off a pretty sizable tank army. And as you can see, here comes the tank push itself, and Holy Human is